Hello everybody. Today we are going to be talking about Bartram Seastream, an Oread cleric that worships Chikaro. This is made to be a healer build and to do some really funny shenanigans. So if you don't know who Chikaro is, it's the female Azada, Imperial Lord of Dreams, Hallucinations, and Mists, and your obedience is to drape yourself in gauze and eat hallucinogenic mushrooms or fungi while meditating on the teachings of Chikaro. So essentially I'm kind of a drug addict in a way. No, not really. I just do shrooms. I'm an Oread that does shrooms for Jesus. But this comes with a really cool domain because then I can take madness, and that's I found these to be very interesting. So first thing, Vision of Madness. I can touch somebody and they get a +1 to one type of check and a -6 to other types of checks. So this is really interesting because if you use it on a friend, you could buff their saving throws while minusing attacks and skill checks for 3 rounds, or you could touch an enemy and reduce and buff his skill checks, but then reduce his saving throws and his attack rolls by 6. So kind of a nuts ability if you ask me. Now, so that'll be pretty interesting. The target receives a bonus to the chosen rolls equal to half, and a penalty to the other 2 types of rolls. In this, it doesn't even look like there's a save for this. You just do a melee touch attack, and if it hits, I just get to do it. So that's pretty insane to be able to just give something a -6 to its saving throws and attack rolls. The next thing that's pretty cool is Aura of Madness. Anybody that gets near me has to pass a DC 24 will save or they become confused. I can do this for 13 rounds a day, and if you're not familiar with confusion, so they roll a percentile every turn. So 0, 1 to 25 act normally, 26 to 50 do nothing but babble incoherently, 51 to 75 deal 1d8 points of damage plus their strength modifier to themselves with item in hand, or attack the nearest creature. So that's actually just hilarious when you think about it, because I could use this offensively where I could just literally run at them and just activate this just to try to make them all confused and just create total chaos. So this is looking pretty fun. So for skills, I put 5 points into knowledge, religion, perception, diplomacy. I don't really have a whole lot of int. I went 12, 10, 12, 7, 21, 16. 3 of the wisdom is coming from this because I'm level 12. So I don't have a whole lot of int, but that's fine. That's not really what this character is about. This character is just all about healing and being hard to kill. So that's the skills. Feats, I took heavy armor proficiency so I can wear full plate. Then I took channel smite just to be able to do more damage to undead. Divine interference, this is pretty good because if somebody attacks my friend, then as an immediate action I can sacrifice a spell slot to make them re-roll and give them a negative on that roll. So when you think about it, this is kind of crazy because if I sacked let's say a 4th level spell that I didn't need, and I had already touched him with my Visions of Madness, I could be giving something like a -10 to attack. So that's pretty good. Like there's a lot of utility. A lot of utility in this thing. Guided Hand, just so as long as I'm using my deity's favorite weapon, I get my wisdom to my attack bonus. So I don't really do much damage, but it's still useful to just be able to attack and hit something. I can now channel energy as a move action if I want to use 2 uses of the ability. I can cast it. I can expend a use of channel energy whenever I get reduced to 0 or fewer hit points as an immediate action. I can use channel energy, so that's pretty cool, but the healing only affects me, so that's whatever. Then selective channeling, so I can take targets outside that I don't want to heal and get them out. Reactionary and seeker, so just gives +2 to initiative and a +1 bonus on perception checks. So now keep in mind that when you play a spontaneous casting, you have spontaneous casting with a cleric, so you can convert all of these spells into cure spells, so you don't actually need to take the cure spells. You can take the inflict spells, so like I take the inflict spells just so I can do a little bit of damage that way, but I never take cure spells because I can convert any of these into a cure spell of that level. So I took compel hostility. Whenever a creature you see threatens to make attack against one of your allies, you can compel it to try to attack you. So this is just good to try to make it attack the person that has a higher AC, a higher HP pool. You know, so if I stand next to a caster, if they ever get charged or anything like that, I can help them out. Detect evil, inflict light wounds just to do a little bit of damage. Sanctuary, so any opponent attempting to directly attack the warded creature, even with a targeted spell, must attempt a will save. If the save succeeds, the opponent can attack normally and is unaffected. But if they fail, the opponent can't follow through with the attack. That part of its action is lost, and it can't directly attack the warded creature for the duration of the spell. The duration is 1 round a level, so that's for 13 rounds. That's pretty good. If they fail this, that's a little wild, because I can ward and put Sanctuary on anybody. Then you have Grace. Till end of turn, my movements do not provoke attacks of opportunity. That's just kind of a utility spell. Hold Person, Iron Skin, to help buff my my tanks. So this will give a maximum of +7 at 15th level, so it's giving like a 5 or a 6 or something like that extra natural armor bonus, so that's pretty good. Protection from Evil, Communal. This just gives everybody a deflection bonus, +2 resistance bonus on saves. Just kind of helps if people don't have a Cloak of Resistance or something like that. Aligned Weapon, Communal. I can help make everybody's weapons something else. So if, like, for example, we're fighting werewolves, I can change the alignment of the weapon and do stuff like that. Or, sorry, if I need it to be chaotic, evil, or good, is what I meant. Not changing the material. But if I'm fighting like an evil outsider and only good weapons can bypass its DR, well, I can do that. Inflict serious wounds, Mind Maze, just another thing, kind of plays towards the theme of my character, where I'm just kind of making people go mad. So it just makes it to where it seems like their mind is wandering through a maze, so they can't really do anything here. So it's just a pretty good CC ability. Stone Shape, really good utility ability. Can change the shape of stone and do all kinds of stuff with this ability. Aura of Doom, activate it to make things shaken when they get near me. So I can do an Aura of Doom on top of the Aura of Madness, so I can make things shaken and confused. So there's just a lot of utility, a lot of debuffing going on. Then we have Divine Power. This is going to give me a +1 luck bonus on attack rolls, weapon damage rolls, strength checks, and strength-based checks. So this is just going to help me do a little bit of damage if I need to, and it also is going to give me a lot of temp HP, and I get an extra attack when I make a full attack action. So it's okay. Not the best thing, but not the worst thing. Then you have Holy Smite. Deals 1d8 points of damage per 2 caster levels to each evil creature in the area, so it's an AoE ability. And if it's an evil outsider, it becomes 1d6 a level, I believe. Or 1d6 points of damage per caster level, maximum 10d6 to an evil outsider. So that's pretty solid to just do 10d6. So if there's a bunch of evil outsiders standing close together, you can just kind of nuke them. It's kind of like a fireball, and they become blinded. Reduces the damage to half and negates the blinded effect. But yeah, okay, and then it does half damage to neutral creatures. Alright, Magic Weapon Greater, so this just helps make it to where you don't really need to go out and buy a magic weapon, because I don't really have a reason to buy a magic weapon, because I'm not going to really be attacking, so this just kind of buffs the weapon without me spending the gold. Let's see here. Okay, so then we have Breath of Life, solid revival spell, so if somebody goes down, you can immediately revive them. On top of it, does 5d8 points of damage plus 1 point per caster level, or sorry, cures 5d8 points of damage plus 1. So that means you can do quite a bit of healing with this, and it's also a resurrect if I can use it on someone within a turn that they died. Cleanse, pretty good. This is just if I get any conditions at all, I can just heal myself. It cleanses, like, blinded, confused, dazzled, deaf, etc., etc. So it's like a self-cleanse. And then we have Harm. So this is just a really solid damage ability. So 10 points of damage per caster level. So it's like, alright, I'm just going to deal 70 damage to something, or, sorry, 65 damage to something, regardless of if they pass or not. If it's used on an undead creature, Harm acts like heal. So I can't use it on undead, though. And then you have Heal, which is the same thing. If you use it on an undead creature, it acts like harm, but does so heal enables you to channel positive energy into a creature to wipe away energy and afflictions. Ends pretty much as like cleanse plus does 10 hit points of damage per level, so I can do like 130 points of healing just instantly with that, so it's pretty solid. Taking regeneration for the specific use of if a player gets their leg cut off or something, I can regenerate it. And then Wave of Ecstasy. So you emanate waves of intense pleasure that causes all targets within range to falter. Affected creatures are stunned for 1 round and are staggered for the remainder. So this is just another AoE. You know, you have Waves of Ecstasy, then you layer that with Aura of Madness, then you layer that with Aura of Doom, and it makes it really hard for enemies to do anything. And then I use Vision of Madness, and I'm just debuffing the living heck out of them. Yeah, but that is it for the spells. Armor, +5 full plate, +5 heavy steel shield. Weapons, just a +2 morning star. Magic items, physical might for more con and strength, just so I have more health. Cloak of resistance, plus cloak of resistance just to help buff saves. And then headband to help buff my spell DCs and my uses of channel positive energy, because this goes off of my charisma on how many times I can channel. Alright, I think that is everything. So that's pretty much a cleric. Clerics, if you haven't played them before, I mean, they're really only as good as, you know, the domain you select plus whatever spells you choose. So just try to, you know, just pick a lot of utility stuff, make it really hard for the enemy to kill anybody. That's kind of your goal as a cleric, especially when you're a healer, and I think I've accomplished that with this build. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I stirred up some ideas for potential builds for you, and I'll see you next time. Okay.